Talk Ava. Learn English with confidence.
Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're talking about two English words that confuse learners at every level, bring and take. They seem simple, but they're easy to mix up because the difference depends on direction. Once you understand how native speakers think about these words, your English will sound much more natural.
That's true. I hear learners say things like, I'll bring this book to my office tomorrow, even though they're speaking from home. Native speakers usually choose a different word in that situation because they're thinking about where the movement is going.
That's what we'll explore today. We won't memorize grammar rules. Instead, we'll learn through real-life conversations that you'll hear with friends, family, coworkers, and even while traveling.
By the end of today's conversation, you'll know when bring sounds natural and when take is the better choice.
Let's start with bring.
Imagine you're inviting a few friends to your house for dinner.
One friend asks, "Can I help with anything?"
You reply, "Could you bring some bread?"
That's a very natural sentence.
The bread is moving toward you.
That's the key idea.
Bring means something comes toward the speaker or the destination being talked about.
Now let's change the situation.
Imagine dinner's over and your friend is getting ready to leave.
You hand them a container of leftover food.
You say, "Take this home with you."
That's different.
Now the food is moving away from you.
That's the biggest difference.
Bring means movement toward.
Take means movement away.
Let's compare them.
Please bring your notebook to class tomorrow.
Don't forget to take your notebook home after class.
Same notebook.
Different direction.
Here's another everyday example.
Imagine you're visiting your grandparents.
Before leaving home, your mother says, "Bring your camera."
She wants the camera to come to your grandparents' house.
After the visit, your grandfather says, "Take some homemade cookies with you."
Now the cookies are leaving his house.
Same conversation.
Two different directions.
Here's another situation.
You're going to a friend's birthday party.
Someone says, "Don't forget to bring a gift."
The gift is coming to the party.
After the party, your friend gives everyone a small thank you gift.
They say, "Take one before you leave."
That's another natural conversation.
Here's something learners often do.
Go ahead.
They choose bring and take based only on movement.
But native speakers think about the direction from the speaker's point of view.
That's the important part.
Imagine I call you and say, "Can you bring your laptop to my office?"
The laptop is moving toward you.
Now imagine I'm leaving the office.
You might say, "Take your laptop with you."
Now it's moving away from the office.
Same object, different perspective.
Here's another example.
You're having a family picnic.
Your father says, "Please bring some cold drinks."
Later, when everyone is packing up, your mother says, "Take the empty bottles home."
That's exactly how native speakers use these words.
One brings something to the gathering.
The other takes something away from it.
Here's another situation.
You're studying at the library with a friend.
Before leaving home, your friend texts, "Can you bring your charger?"
At the end of the study session, you remind your friend, "Don't forget to take your charger."
That's another conversation you'll hear every day.
Once you begin thinking about toward and away, these two words become much easier.
Before we continue, we have a question for everyone listening today.
Question for you. Which sentence feels more natural to you? Please bring your notebook tomorrow, or please take your notebook tomorrow. Tell us which one you would choose and write your own example using bring or take in the comments. We'd love to read your answers.
Your examples always help other learners because everyone thinks of different everyday situations, and that's one of the best ways to practice natural English.
If today's conversation is helping you understand everyday English more clearly, don't forget to like this episode, subscribe to the channel, and share it with another English learner.
Thanks for joining us today.
Let's look at a few everyday situations where native speakers naturally choose between bring and take. Once you hear enough examples, you'll stop translating these words and start thinking about direction instead.
That's true because native speakers almost never think about grammar here. They simply ask themselves one question: is something moving toward me or away from me?
Imagine you're working at the office.
Your manager sends you a message.
It says, "Please bring the sales report to my office after lunch."
The report is moving toward the manager.
That's why bring sounds natural.
Later that afternoon, the meeting finishes.
The manager says you can take the report back to your desk. Now the report is moving away from the manager's office.
Same document.
Different direction. Here's another example.
You're spending the weekend at your cousin's house.
Before leaving home, your mother says, "Bring your jacket."
She wants your jacket to come with you.
When it's time to leave your cousin's house, your aunt gives you a homemade pie.
She smiles and says, "Take this home."
That's another conversation you'll hear naturally.
The pie is leaving her house.
Let's imagine another situation.
You're meeting friends for a picnic in the park.
One friend sends a message to the group.
Can someone bring a soccer ball?
The ball is coming to the picnic.
After the picnic ends, everyone starts cleaning up.
One friend says, "Take your water bottles with you."
That's about leaving the park.
Here's something learners sometimes ask.
What's that?
They wonder why someone says, "Bring your passport" before a trip.
That's a good question.
Imagine you're meeting your family at the airport.
Someone reminds you, don't forget to bring your passport.
They're thinking about the passport coming to the airport.
Later, after arriving at your hotel, your friend says, take your passport with you when we go sightseeing.
Now it's leaving the hotel with you.
Context changes everything.
Here's another everyday conversation.
You're visiting your grandparents.
Before dinner, your grandmother says, "Could you bring the plates to the table?"
The plates move toward the table.
After dinner, she says, "Please take the plates to the kitchen."
Now they're moving away from the table.
That's a perfect example because both words appear in the same situation.
They simply describe different directions.
Let's think about school.
A teacher tells the class, bring your science projects tomorrow.
The projects are coming to school.
At the end of the school day, the teacher says, take your projects home.
That's exactly how native speakers speak.
One word brings something into a place.
The other takes something out.
Here's another situation.
You're helping a friend move into a new apartment.
Your friend calls and says, can you bring some packing tape?
You arrive with the tape.
After everything is unpacked, your friend says, take these empty boxes if you need them.
That's another completely natural conversation.
Once you stop thinking about the object and start thinking about its direction, choosing the correct word becomes much easier.
And after enough real conversations, you'll begin using bring and take automatically without stopping to think about grammar. There's another reason bring and take can be confusing. Sometimes both words can appear in the same conversation, but they're describing the same object from two different points of view.
That's a good point. Native speakers don't focus on the object itself. They focus on where it's going.
Imagine you're spending the weekend at your parents' house.
Your mother calls you before you leave home.
She says, "Can you bring some fresh fruit?"
The fruit is coming to her house.
After lunch, she packs some homemade muffins for you.
She smiles and says, take these with you.
Now the muffins are leaving her house.
Same visit.
Different direction.
Here's another situation.
You're working from home one day.
Your coworker sends you a message.
Can you bring your laptop to tomorrow's meeting?
The laptop is moving toward the meeting.
After the meeting ends, your manager says, "Take your laptop back home."
That's another very natural conversation.
Here's something learners sometimes notice.
Go ahead.
A parent might say, "Bring your backpack here."
That's because the backpack is moving toward the parent.
A few minutes later, the same parent says, "Take your backpack to your room."
Now it's moving away from where the parent is standing.
That's exactly how native speakers think.
Let's imagine another everyday conversation.
You're at a family barbecue.
Everyone is helping prepare the food.
One person says, "Can you bring the salad to the table?"
A little later, after everyone finishes eating, another person says, take the empty bowls to the kitchen.
Both sentences sound completely natural.
One moves toward the table.
The other moves away from it.
Here's another example.
You're visiting a friend who just moved into a new apartment.
Before you arrive, your friend sends a message.
If you can, bring a few extra chairs.
Everyone enjoys the evening together.
When it's time to leave, your friend says, "Take your jacket. It might get cold outside."
That's another conversation you'll hear all the time.
Here's something interesting.
What's that?
Native speakers often use bring when inviting someone somewhere.
That's true.
You might hear bring your family
Or bring a friend.
or bring your favorite game.
Everything is coming to the same place,
On the other hand, take often appears when someone is leaving.
such as take your umbrella
Take your phone.
or take your keys.
Those things are leaving with the person.
Let's compare two short conversations.
A teacher says, bring your homework tomorrow.
At the end of class, the teacher says, take your notebooks home.
Same classroom.
Different direction.
Here's another situation.
You're staying at a hotel during a vacation.
Before heading to the swimming pool, your brother says, bring your towel.
After swimming, your parents remind everyone, take your towels back to the room.
That's another perfect example.
Here's one final conversation.
Two neighbors are preparing for a community picnic.
One neighbor says, I'll bring some sandwiches.
The other replies, great, I'll take the cooler from my garage.
The sandwiches are coming to the picnic.
The cooler is leaving the garage.
Once you begin thinking about toward and away, you'll notice that native speakers make these choices very naturally.
And after enough listening practice, you'll stop translating these words and start using them the same way.
Let's spend some time on the expressions and situations where native speakers naturally use bring and take. These are the kinds of conversations you'll hear at home, at work, while traveling, and during everyday activities.
I like this part because you'll notice that native speakers don't memorize rules. They simply think about where something is moving.
Imagine you're getting ready for a family game night.
Everyone has agreed to meet at your sister's house.
Your sister sends a message saying, can someone bring a deck of cards?
The cards are coming to her house.
After the game night ends, everyone starts packing their things.
Your sister says, take your water bottle before you leave.
Now the bottle is leaving her house.
That's another natural conversation.
Here's another situation.
You're spending the afternoon at the beach with your friends.
Before leaving home, one friend says, don't forget to bring sunscreen.
Everyone arrives safely and enjoys the day.
As the sun begins to set, another friend says, take your towels so nothing gets left behind.
That's exactly how native speakers speak. Let's imagine another example.
You're visiting your aunt for the weekend.
Before you leave home, your father says, bring your favorite board game.
Later that evening, your aunt gives you a small bag of fresh vegetables from her garden.
She smiles and says, take these home with you.
The board game came to her house.
The vegetables are leaving her house.
Here's another conversation.
Two coworkers are preparing for an important presentation.
One sends a message saying, please bring the projector remote.
During the meeting, everything goes smoothly.
When the presentation finishes, the manager says, take the equipment back to the storage room.
That's another everyday situation.
One item comes to the meeting.
The other goes away from it afterward.
Here's something interesting.
Go ahead.
Native speakers often use bring when offering something to another person.
That's true.
Someone might say, I'll bring you a cup of coffee.
Or, I'll bring you a blanket.
Or even, I'll bring your jacket.
Everything is moving toward the other person.
On the other hand, take often appears when someone is carrying something somewhere else.
For example, take these books upstairs.
Take this package to the post office.
Take your shoes to the closet.
The movement is away from where the speaker is.
Let's compare two quick conversations. A friend calls and says, can you bring some ice?
Later that evening, the same friend says, take some cake home.
That's a conversation you'll hear at many parties.
Here's another example.
You're helping organize a school event.
A teacher says, bring your posters to the gym before 9 o'clock.
After the event finishes, the teacher says, take your posters back to the classroom.
Same posters.
Different direction. Here's one final situation.
You're going camping with a group of friends.
Before leaving, one friend reminds everyone, bring a flashlight.
At the end of the weekend, another friend says, take all your trash with you.
Those are very common instructions.
One item comes to the campsite.
The other leaves the campsite.
The more you connect bring with movement towards someone or somewhere,
and take with movement away,
the easier these words become in everyday English.
let's look at a few situations where native speakers naturally choose between bring and take without stopping to think about grammar.
These are the kinds of conversations you'll hear almost every day.
That's one of the best ways to learn, because once you hear the pattern enough times, it starts feeling automatic.
Imagine you're getting ready for a family vacation.
Everyone is packing their suitcases.
Your father looks around the living room and says, "Don't forget to bring your passports."
The passports are coming on the trip with everyone.
After arriving at the hotel, your mother reminds the family, "Take your room keys whenever you leave."
Now the keys are leaving the hotel room with you.
Same vacation.
Different direction. Here's another situation.
You're spending the afternoon helping your neighbor plant flowers.
Before you walk over, your neighbor calls.
They say, "Could you bring a small shovel?"
The shovel is coming to the garden.
After finishing the work, your neighbor smiles and says, "Take these flowers home if you'd like."
That's another conversation you'll hear naturally.
The flowers are leaving the garden with you.
Let's imagine another example.
You're attending an evening cooking class.
The instructor sends everyone a message before class.
Please bring an apron.
Everyone arrives wearing or carrying one.
At the end of the class, the instructor says, "Take your recipe sheets with you."
That's a very common classroom conversation.
One item comes to class.
The other leaves class.
Here's something learners sometimes don't notice.
Go ahead.
Native speakers often use take when giving directions.
That's true.
You might hear, "Take this road."
Take the elevator to the 3rd floor.
"Take the next left."
In these expressions, take doesn't mean carrying something.
It means choosing a route or using something to reach a destination.
Here's another everyday situation.
You're meeting friends at a movie theater.
Before leaving home, one friend sends a message.
Can someone bring some snacks?
Everyone arrives with food to share.
After the movie finishes, another friend says, "Take your jacket. It's colder outside than I expected."
That's another natural use of take.
Let's think about work.
You're preparing for a business meeting.
Your manager says, "Bring your notebook and a pen."
After the meeting, your coworker reminds you, take your notebook back to your desk.
That's exactly how native speakers speak in offices.
Here's another example.
You're visiting your grandparents during the holidays.
Before leaving, your grandmother packs some homemade cookies.
She says, "Take these for your family."
A few weeks later, you're planning another visit.
Your parents say, "Let's bring grandma some fresh fruit this time."
Notice how the direction changes depending on where the speaker is thinking.
That's the key idea behind these two words.
Here's one final conversation.
Two friends are preparing for a camping trip.
One asks, should I bring a first aid kit?
The other replies, "Yes, and don't forget to take all your belongings home when we leave."
One action happens before arriving.
The other happens before leaving.
Once you begin paying attention to direction instead of simply translating the words, these conversations become much easier to understand.
And after enough listening practice, you'll naturally choose bring when something is moving toward a person or place, and take when it's moving away.
Let's bring everything together with a few longer conversations. These examples sound very close to the way native speakers actually speak, and you'll notice that bring and take fit naturally depending on the direction of the action.
That's one of the easiest ways to remember these words. Instead of thinking about grammar, think about where the object is going.
Imagine two friends are preparing for a neighborhood barbecue.
One friend sends a message saying, "Can you bring some lemonade?"
The other replies, "Sure, I'll bring 2 bottles."
A few hours later, everyone is enjoying the food.
When the barbecue ends, one friend says, "Take any leftovers you want."
That's a conversation you'll hear at many family gatherings.
The drinks came to the barbecue.
The leftovers are leaving with the guests.
Let's imagine another situation.
Two coworkers are getting ready for a conference.
One asks, "Should I bring my laptop?"
The other replies, "Yes, we'll probably need it during the presentation."
The conference finishes successfully.
Before leaving, one coworker says, "Don't forget to take your name badge."
That's another natural office conversation.
The laptop comes to the conference.
The name badge leaves with the employee.
Here's another example.
A family is getting ready for a day at the zoo.
One parent says, "Bring a bottle of water for everyone."
They spend the whole afternoon walking around.
As they're leaving, another parent reminds everyone, take your backpacks before we go.
Same family trip.
Different direction.
Let's think about another everyday conversation.
You're helping a friend decorate a new apartment.
Before you arrive, your friend says, if you have a small toolbox, bring it with you.
You spend the afternoon putting furniture together.
When everything is finished, your friend says, take your toolbox home. I won't need it anymore.
That's exactly how native speakers use these words.
Here's something interesting.
Go ahead.
Native speakers also use bring when talking about people.
That's true.
Someone might say, bring your brother to the party.
Or, bring the kids to the park.
The people are coming to the place being discussed.
On the other hand, someone might say, take the kids to school.
Or, take your grandparents to the airport.
In those examples, you're moving people away from your current location toward another destination.
Let's compare two short conversations.
A teacher says, bring your dictionaries tomorrow.
At the end of class, the teacher says, take your dictionaries home.
The same dictionaries appear in both sentences, only the direction changes.
Here's another situation.
Two friends are planning a hiking trip.
One says, I'll bring some sandwiches. The other replies, great, I'll bring plenty of water.
After the hike, one friend notices an empty snack wrapper.
They say, take your trash with you. Let's leave the trail clean.
That's something you'll hear in parks and hiking areas quite often.
Here's one final conversation.
A family is visiting relatives for the holidays.
Before leaving home, someone says, let's bring a dessert.
Everyone enjoys dinner together.
As the visit comes to an end, the relatives say, take some pie home for tomorrow.
The dessert comes to the gathering.
The pie leaves with the visitors.
Once you begin thinking about movement instead of translating the words directly, these conversations become much easier to understand.
And after enough real conversations, you'll naturally know when something should be brought and when it should be taken. We've reached the final part of today's conversation, so let's review everything with one simple idea. If you remember this idea, you'll know when to use bring and when to use take in almost every everyday situation.
That's a great goal because these two words appear in conversations every single day. You'll hear them at home, at school, at work, while traveling, and whenever people are moving things from one place to another.
Let's start with one simple question.
Is something moving toward the speaker or the place you're talking about?
If the answer is yes, bring is usually the correct word.
Think about invitations.
Think about family dinners.
Think about meetings.
Those situations often use bring because something is coming to that place.
Now ask yourself another question.
Is something moving away from the speaker or from the place you're talking about?
If that's what's happening, take is usually the better choice.
Let's practice with a few final situations.
Imagine you're going to your friend's house to watch a football game.
Before you leave, your friend sends a message.
Could you bring some chips?
The chips are coming to your friend's house.
After the game, your friend gives you a sports magazine you've wanted to read.
They say, take it with you.
The magazine is leaving their house.
Here's another example.
You're preparing for a family picnic.
Your sister says, I'll bring some fruit.
Your brother says, I'll bring a blanket.
Everyone arrives at the park.
After lunch, your father reminds everyone, take all your belongings before we leave.
That's another conversation you'll hear naturally.
Here's one more situation.
Imagine you're visiting your doctor.
The receptionist says, please bring your identification card.
The card is coming to the clinic.
After your appointment, the doctor hands you a prescription.
They say, take this to the pharmacy.
Now the prescription is leaving the clinic.
Same visit.
Different direction.
Let's imagine another everyday conversation.
You're meeting your classmates to work on a group project.
One classmate sends a message saying, can everyone bring their notes?
During the meeting, everyone shares ideas.
When it's time to leave, one student says, "Take your notebooks so nothing gets left here."
That's another example of how naturally native speakers switch between these two words.
Here's one final conversation.
A family is getting ready for a holiday trip.
One parent says, "Bring your sunglasses."
Another says, bring a light jacket because the evenings might be cool.
After arriving at the hotel, they unpack their bags.
The next morning, before going sightseeing, one parent reminds everyone, take your room key and your phone.
The sunglasses came to the vacation.
The room key leaves the hotel room with the family.
Before we finish, here's a memory trick that many learners find helpful.
Imagine someone is standing at a door waving you inside.
They're saying, "Bring it here."
Everything is coming toward them.
Now imagine someone is standing at the door waving goodbye.
They're saying, take it with you.
Everything is moving away.
That simple picture makes the difference much easier to remember.
Don't worry if you mix these words up once in a while. Even advanced English learners sometimes pause because the correct word depends on perspective.
The more you listen to real conversations, the more naturally you'll begin thinking about direction instead of translating word for word.
After enough practice, choosing between bring and take will become automatic.
Keep improving with our English podcast for learning, real-life English conversation, English shadowing practice, English conversation and shadowing practice, English vocabulary and expressions, and English podcast for easy English conversation. Keep practicing every day, learn more, speak better, and we'll see you in the next conversation.